produciendo.
Perfecto.
Are we live? Hi, are we live? Just want to make sure. All right, well, I'm going to start. So we're going to start with our first live cooking class. Many of you know me already. We've talked at the Welcome Center when you have surgery. And, I love talking about food and most of all suggesting real food. And try not to consume all those ultra processed products that we sometimes think they're healthy, just because they'll be, oh, perfect. We have one person. So if you can hear me, if you can see, and somebody can just tell me. All right. So the idea of these cooking classes and of all the classes that I am with you is so that we can shift that idea that we need to consume products low calorie, low sugar. This is not about avoiding any type of or it's not really about eating less calories to be thin. It's about eating whole foods to be well nourished. And it can be a little bit difficult. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you are not used to cooking, or if you're not if you don't have that habit in your home. So this is going to be a class where we are going to prepare specific recipes for the initial phases, the liquid phase, and then to see how we can transform those foods that we have in the initial phases into weeks 2 and 3. So I'm going to introduce our chef. She's here in the back. Chef Viridiana. We've been working together for many years now. Chef Viridiana is a professional cook. She has been in the health industry for about 10 years now. She's been working with specialized diets, specialized nutrition, detox, intolerances. So she has a lot of knowledge around health. She has been working a lot with professional medical groups. We've done a lot of bariatric classes, so she's very well versed in all of our language too. So she's going to prepare special meals for the initial for the clear liquid diet, the full liquid diet, and the soft food diet, because I think those are the ones that we have a little bit more difficulty with. So I'm going to let her start, and we're all ready. So if anybody can just tell me that you can hear me, that's fine. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Viri, for being with us.
Inviting me. I'm really excited to be here. It's a pleasure for me to be here to work with food in the health industry, like to show people that it's not that complicated to do like nutritious food and delicious, and that can also be good for your body. So today we are gonna make very simple recipes. Obviously they're simple for me, but because I have experience, but I wanted to show you that it just need a few ingredients to do different recipes, and you don't need many tools or equipment. So I hope you enjoy what I'm gonna show you today. So
let's begin.
yes.
If you guys have any questions, I'm going to be monitoring the questions on my computer. So go ahead and ask, and I'll be interacting with Viridiana, but she's going to do the recipes herself.
Okay, we are gonna start first with the bone broth. I'm gonna have bring the bones here. Okay, so here we have bones. They are like from cow. You can ask for this in a butcher shop. What I like to use, there are different kind of bones in the cow, but I like to use more this kind that have like tissue, because they hold a lot of natural collagen, so it's gonna help us for our gut. So this is what it looks like to have it like raw, and then now I'm gonna put it in the oven so they can be roasted a little bit, and the fat can melt, so we don't have that much fat on our broth. So I'm gonna put it in the oven like 350 degrees and 15-20 minutes, so they can have like a golden brown color, and so that will help also with the flavor. Okay, we can also use it like this, just put it in the water, but I like to do it that way so we can have like a more colorful and rich in flavor broth. Okay. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you about the other ingredients that we're gonna use for the broth. We're gonna put some onion, garlic, and celery, and some herbs. I have bay leaves, I have thyme, and black pepper. So this is just very basic ingredients you can have. Uh, as soon as I have the buns ready in the oven, we're gonna put it in the slow cooker. I'm gonna use a slow cooker. You can use a regular pot and do it in the stove. I like to use this one because for me it's more convenient, because usually bun broth takes a very long time to be made. It's usually between 8 and 12 hours, so we can have a very good one. So I'm just for me it's more convenient and more safe, so I can leave home and just leave the put in the everything in the morning, and then go to work, and then when I come back home I can have my bun broth ready. So I'm gonna put just big pieces. You don't have to use like everything, doesn't have to be chopped like fine on everything. Just the end of the onion, it's fine. Big pieces of garlic. I don't use a specific amount because it depends of how much are you gonna make. But let's say just like a half of an onion and like three garlic cloves, and I'm gonna put a few uh, thymes and bay leaves, and then like 5 pieces of black pepper. So you can use, if you don't have like, you don't like onion, or you don't have, you can also use like leek. It helps. Or you can, if you don't have any of these ingredients, you can still make it just with the basic, like the bones and some herbs. That'll be fine. It's just try to make it easier for you, like not too complicated. I have everything. I mean, I usually have a lot of vegetables at home, so for me it's easier. But if you don't have carrots, I like to put it so um, they can make it more like colorful. But if you don't have it or you don't like it, it's fine. You can still make it. The important ingredient here is the bones, okay? And we have another key ingredient here, that is, I have here apple cider vinegar. So I'm gonna use this like 1 tablespoon. Uh, this what it brings more like take more of the collagen of the bones, because the acidity helps with this. You can use any kind of vinegar, but I like to use this one because it's like more. It has more like beneficial bacteria for your gut too. So here we have the vegetables, the herbs, the black pepper, just waiting for. No? Okay. We have here the vegetables and the herbs and the black pepper. So just waiting for the buns to be ready, and then we are gonna add it here in some water and then put it in the slow cooker. Okay. Any questions so far?
If you guys have any questions, you can just type it in. I'm watching. So the bone broth is something that we recommend. I always, in the our nutrition classes at the Welcome Center, I always recommend bone broth. And this is basically because of the collagen. So collagen is really good for gut health. The gelatin that the bones are going to produce is really good for gut health, and it also helps with tissue repair. So that is crucial these first few weeks after the surgery. Okay. We also have other types of broths that we recommend. If you've been to my classes, I always recommend that you switch around the broth so that you won't get tired of always the same thing. So the idea here is that you can make your own broths and not buy the packaged brands that have a lot of sodium and all of these industrialized ingredients.
So other kind of is a kind of broth, but is from a vegetable source. Is that we're gonna use. We're gonna cook beans. In this case, I have black beans, but you can use any kind of beans. And we're gonna cook them and for to use the broth, so you can take it and you have a different flavor. You don't get bored of the same, and you have different vitamins, because this has a lot of iron. So it is important, so you can have a variety of these vitamins, and also for not to get bored just drinking the same thing every day. So it's very simple. Just we're gonna cook the beans. First thing for me, it is important, and I really recommend that you soak the beans like prior at least like 8 hours. I just put it in one. These are lentils. But I did the same with the beans. I soak them, and then I remove the water. It is important to remove that water, and then just add clean water and just cover a little bit more, not just to cover, but you have to be like double of the amount of the beans. Put that water, and then just put it in the stove, and it's gonna take uh, less time to cook if you soak them, and also is good because usually for some people beans and can be like inflammatory, and soak them can help to so that can be, so it's not that inflammatory for you. So it also can help to cook the bean in less time, okay, than usual. So just that, just water. If you like to add some flavor, we can also add a bay leaf or maybe a piece of garlic, but that's it. We don't add any other thing. We can put salt, but just at the end. We usually don't put salt at the beginning of the when you're cooking the beans, because that will make it, it's a long time to cook. So if you put salt at the beginning, it will make it saltier, and also it will take longer for the bean to cook. So just at the beginning, and when, as soon as you, it's gonna take like 40 minutes maybe, and as soon as the bean is cooked, we add the salt. Okay.
There's some questions, if we can answer them?
Yes.
Stephanie asks, can we use all these herbs and spices in chicken bone broth as well?
Yes, of course. You can use it. It's the same basically. It's just like you can change what type of bones you can use. But yes, you can use it with chicken too.
So something else that I always recommend at our classes is that people get creative, or that the patients get creative with herbs and spices. And sometimes it might be a little bit um, overwhelming if you're not used to using herbs and spices. Is there any recommendations as to like what you can start out with, or what would be the easiest way to start experimenting with that, so that you can start just producing your own flavors and not have to follow a specific recipe?
Yeah, for me the basic is like garlic and onion. I think you can find it everywhere. Most of the homes have garlic and onion and bay leaves. So if you want to be really really basic, just use bay leaves, garlic and onion, and that'll be all. And and then you can start adding if you want like thyme. Sometimes like I like when I do chicken bone broth, and I use a lot of basil. I usually use like the leaf of the basil, and we stay with the bottom part, so that I don't throw it away. So I save it in the fridge and I use it. So you can use that or any other herb, maybe parsley or something that usually you only use like the leaf. So you can use any of, of that. So if you want to add some flavor different to make it more like rich, you can also add tomatoes. So just start with the basic, and then you can play with the flavors.
There's also a question, if can we make chicken bone broth from rotisserie chicken?
Yes, you can. Yes. Actually, it is a very simple ways that you can use it, because you buy the chicken, then you eat the meat, and then you don't waste that. So you just the same. You just add it to the pot and start making. So yeah, you can do it. The thing with the chicken is that doesn't there are certain parts of the chicken that have more collagen than just like the when you buy the whole chicken. You can add some like the legs. Sometimes when I do that, when I buy a rotisserie chicken, I use the bones that I have left, and then add a little bit of like a piece, like 2 or 3 pieces of legs, so they can add more, and then I can use that meat for a soup or something. So yeah, you can use that too. Okay, now we're gonna start with some drink. We are still waiting for the buns to be ready, so we're gonna move on. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is like a iced tea, or like a tea, but with no caffeine or any artificial ingredients. This can be used hot or cold, like iced tea. And I like to use a lot of things in the kitchen that I think they have a second chance. I like to use like the pineapple skin. When I chop the pineapple, I save this. So it's the skin, but it still has some of the meat. So I put it in. You can use a pot if you want. For me, it's very simple to use this. This is a press for coffee. I put some pieces of this, and then I add cinnamon, a stick of cinnamon, and then I add a piece of ginger. I like to use a lot of ginger because it has very good anti-inflammatory properties. So just it was like an inch of um, ginger, and then I'm gonna add some um, Jamaica, that in English we know it as hibiscus.
So something that I always recommend our patients to do after surgery is because of they need to be well hydrated is for some people it's going to be a lot easier to tolerate cold and for others hot, for others warm. So this is a really good preparation because you could do it hot, but if you can't tolerate it, you can let it go cold. And what's really good about this is the ginger, like she was saying, it has anti-inflammatory properties. So I always recommend to infuse their water with ginger. But I always put too much ginger in everything that I do. How can you avoid that? Like, what is the correct amount of ginger so that it won't overpower? Because it has a very overpowering flavor.
Yes, I recommend to start with like half an inch if you are not very fan of this like bitter taste. So a little piece of that. I'm using a double of this, but uh, you, that is one of the things that you can change also. Try once, and if you don't like it, I mean, you can always add more water, so it has you can make it like lighter. Also the cinnamon, and you can play. I also don't put that much of Jamaica because this also is kind of sour taste. So I put just like a 4 or 5 pieces, small ones like this. So it gives a nice color and a flavor, but not as much as you need to sweeten. So I usually drink this with no honey or no sugar, but it will depend on you. Um, that's why I also add the pineapple, and I try to use it when it's ripe. You can see that the skin is like very yellow, almost orange. So that brings some of the sweetening. So you don't have to use any additional sweetener. So I'm just adding water and leave it there for several minutes. So you can use this in a pot in the stove. Also, a big. Sometimes I do a big one, and then when it's cold, I put it in my fridge, and then I can use it like a drinking water or tea, iced tea. Now that it's kind of hot, so just like this, it starts to getting like kind of pink color. So it is a beautiful drink also and interesting flavor. So this is a very easy.
Another thing, hibiscus is a plant that we find very easily here in Mexico, Jamaica, and you'll find it everywhere. And is it difficult to get in the U.S.? I don't think I've ever seen.
No, you can find it. I mean, I've seen it in like in Sprouts or
Okay.
Whole Foods or
Mostly health foods, right?
Yes,
Health food
yes,
stores.
you can
Okay.
find it there.
So we have another question here. It's is it okay if we get some of the marrow in the broth, or do we need to remove the marrow?
No, it is okay. I mean, it's going to be like more with more fat, but at the end you can remove that fat once you have the bone broth ready, um, and then you put it in the fridge. I usually store it in mason jars, like just remove all the vegetables in the bun and just have the broth and put it in mason jars and then put it in the fridge, and then we're gonna have like a thick layer of fat, but that is gonna be like kind of hard. you, I usually leave it like 1 day in the fridge, so that fat can be like harder, and then I can remove it with a spoon, and then but yeah, you can use that part too, and those kind of parts are gonna make more like rich in also in flavors and in vitamins or minerals or all the things that have in the marrow. So yeah, you can use it. So we're gonna start making another drink. We are still waiting a little bit for the bones. They're almost ready. So just want um, to move on a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna make another very simple drink, but that is gonna be very rich in flavor and it's gonna help in this weather when we have like hot weather, so we can have electrolytes. We are gonna make like what we call in Mexico agua fresca, but usually that kind of drinks we add a lot of sugar. So to avoid that, we're going to use something sweet like watermelon that is sweet by itself. That you don't need to add more. Just I'm going to remove a little bit of the seeds so we don't have it in the drink. And big pieces. I mean, we can leave it the seeds because we have a lot of them, and then we can strain it because I think that'll be easier. Or you can just buy the one without seeds, but I usually don't like to buy fruit without seeds because for me, I think it's not that natural because the natural thing is that you have seeds in the fruit. So I'm not using any amount. I'm just putting a lot, almost the whole jar of the blender. Okay. So what I'm gonna use to liquefy this is coconut water. Coconut water. It is important to use one that doesn't have any additional sugar, but it's going to help with electrolytes, so you can be really hydrated.
So one of the main things in the first phase after surgery is hydration, because, well, you're taking really small sips, drinking very slowly, and it can be difficult. And it can be difficult to be well hydrated. And coconut water is a wonderful way of doing that, right? I mean, you work a lot with coconut water in all of your medical programs.
Yes. I mean, my favorite obviously is to drink it straight from the coconut, but I know that is not easy to find everywhere. This is a brand that they sell here in Mexico, but you can find many brands. Just try to read the label that says only coconut water without any adding sugar or anything else. One brand that I've used and it works and tastes good is the one from Costco, the Kirkland. They have very good coconut water, so you can have it.
Costco has pretty good products, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very clean products. Yeah.
Also, you can buy in bulk and you can have a lot and don't go to the store every week or something.
Yeah, so coconut is wonderful for hydration.
So I'm just gonna blend this.
Did you blend it with the seeds?
Yes, I blended with the seeds, and you can barely see it, but I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna use a strainer just to remove anything, but you can barely like see because they are very like tender. It was a small one, so that is a good thing. If it doesn't bother you, you can drink it like that, or you can use a colander and you can have it like more clean.
So we have different, I don't know if you guys have the opportunity to have these type of blenders, like the Vitamix and the Ninja, and there's many other brands of high-speed blenders. But if you are using a regular blender, because we do have one here too, we'll have a class on different blenders too. But there's a difference, right, between how you can make clear liquids with these type of blenders than the regular, like a regular uh, Hamilton Beach Target blender.
Yes, yeah. If there is something that I recommend you to invest in equipment, it is a blender actually, because it's gonna help, especially in this first phase that is liquid, and you're gonna need to blend many things. So obviously, this brand that is the Vitamix is a very nice one. It's a professional one, but we have more affordable ones too, like the Ninja one that is not that much expensive. So you can have that one too, and I've used it. I have one of those too, and it works fine. So, but yeah, it is important to have like a small investment in a good blender.
So there's some questions here. Is there an alternative to coconut water? Maybe just electrolyte water or just plain water, just regular water,
You
right?
can use just plain water if you want. I mean, you're just, or sometimes you can also just blend the watermelon alone. I mean, by itself, it will with the movement of the blender, it will take all the juices and it will start blending it with no problem. So if you, that will be just like very strong watermelon flavor. So, but it's fine. You can do that too.
And watermelon and cantaloupe, they're one of the most hydrating fruits, right? There's a lot of hydration that we can get from fruits, not just from drinking water. Drinking water can be difficult sometimes, but maybe through watermelon or through cantaloupe or even through, what are these called? Cucumbers. These are also refreshing, hydrating.
Yes, it
fruits.
helps a lot because they have a lot of water. So they can be very refreshing. And the taste is also important. Well, for me, it is. I think most of us appreciate to drink something that it tastes nice. So I think those flavors can are easy to drink and you can enjoy them. I mean, you don't have to add much things.
So they're also asking if we can have this in post-op phase 1, and yes, it's something that you can have. Basically, it's called clear liquids. The idea of a clear liquid is if you look at it against the sun, it's clear. So I mean, this is a red color, but it's still, if you drink it, the consistency is like water. So because we strained out, or she strained out all the gritty parts or parts of a seed. But what helps a lot make this for phase 1 is the type of blender that you use. I do highly recommend that you invest in a high-speed blender like these. It's going to make your life a lot easier. And you will be able to enjoy a lot of different foods if you're using these type of blenders. So yeah, this is something that you can drink the first week post-op.
Yes, and it is important to know that um, well, people sometimes ask about how long it will this be good in the fridge. I will say no more than 3 days because it has very well natural sugar, but keep it in the fridge. It is important. If not, it's gonna go bad easily. So just like let's say for 3 days. So I think this is a good amount. So you can drink them during the day or in a couple of days, and then you can do another batch.
And they can also save that and use it for Jello, right? Or Jello or a popsicle.
Yes,
or
actually, you can do ice with this liquid. You can put in the ice tray, and then just have like a regular glass of water, and you can like flavor it with this ice of watermelon. That will be
There's another
interesting.
question. Can we talk about hot liquids and the right blender? Yeah, that's really important. Can we talk about hot liquids and the right blender? Not all blenders should be used with hot liquids.
No, actually, most of the blenders shouldn't be used with hot liquids. It's just for safety because when you start the blender and all the steam goes up, it can be very dangerous because this part of the blender can go up and then you can have like burn. But it's safer if you are gonna use a hot liquid with the blender. Obviously, these ones helps a lot more, the plastic ones, not to use the glass ones because they can break. But if you are going, I don't recommend to blend hot things. But if you need to do it because you don't have much time, you don't have to feel like just a half of the capacity, because with the movement and the steam is gonna go up, and then you can have this pop up and then get burned. So we don't want that. It's just safety. So it's also a beautiful color. I think it's, for me, it is very important that what I when I see something that I'm gonna drink or eat, it looks nice. So it makes me want to really eat it or drink it.
Yeah, I think that's important too, because sometimes when there's this string of diets that people have been through, there's this idea that you have to eat bland, or you have to eat ugly, or you have to eat without actually finding the pleasure. And the pleasure factor in eating is the most important. That's also a health standard that we need to take into consideration. So making it as beautiful as possible, making it as delicious as possible, that helps a lot to make your meals healthier.
Yes, and also one thing that is important, I think so, when you are doing your own recipes or cooking or your drinks, and buying not only fresh ingredients and all the nourishment that is going to your body, but also the cost. I mean, for this, it was like a medium one, watermelon. It does, I don't remember how much it costs, but it doesn't cost much. And just wanted to show you how much. I just used like the half of the watermelon, and we have, this is like 32 ounces, and I still have the half, so I can easily have another of these for the price of just one medium watermelon. So I think it is important, so you can have that in on mind.
So there's another question. Can we add lemon? Can we add lemon or lime to cut down on some of the sweetness of the watermelon? Some folks can't handle the sweetness after surgery. I want to comment on that because after surgery, we do need to avoid foods that are high in acid. Lemon, we always talk about avoiding lemon, avoiding lime, avoiding tomatoes, which can also increase acid production. But if you add a few drops of lemon to this, can it counter the sweetness? And is it necessary to use a lot? Because a few drops is not going to hurt. Can we use that?
Yeah, of course you can use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Usually, well, as Mexicans, sometimes we use lime and chile and everything. So
yes.
If you like it, it's fine. You can have it. Yeah. Okay, I have the buns ready, so I'm gonna take it off from the oven. So to show you how they are.
The place smells delicious. This is my office, by the way. This is a medical office building. So I'm sure my neighbors are hating me right now because they're getting all of the delicious smell. It smells incredible. It looks beautiful.
Look, the color change, and we have all this fat that is in the tray that helps because that stays here and doesn't stay on your broth. It's going to have obviously a lot of fat because we have all this tissue and fat in here. But as I said, we can remove that at the end. So you can still, if you like more brown, if you have more time, you can still leave it a couple of minutes more so it can be more golden brown. I'm just gonna use it like this for timing. So I have here the pot, and then just going to add the bones. So if it has a little bit of meat, that will help a lot to the flavor.
So another thing that can also help a lot during the first stage is a slow cooker. There's different appliances or utensils that can be very helpful during your bariatric healing process so that you can make your own food. And the slow cooker is also a really good investment. And they're not expensive at all. I mean, they're like $40, right? At Target.
Yeah, there are different sizes and brands, but one thing that I do recommend that you keep in mind is the material that is. This one is like kind of ceramic. Don't use the ones that have like non-stick because they have a lot of chemicals that are going to stay on the broth. So we try to avoid that because you want as clean as possible in your food. So these ones are perfect, and you can find it in different sizes too. So if you need to cook for long, for a lot of people, or just for you, I use this one for me because I drink bone broth every day, and I with this I can have like four four mason jars, the big ones, like for 32 ounces. So I put a couple of them in the fridge and the other ones in the freezer, so you can freeze it too. It helps because it's a long process for to have the bone broth. You don't have to make it every week, so you can put it in the freezer and then you just use as you need it. Something that is very important too is to start the everything that you're gonna cook and you wanna have the flavor, the boss flavor of it is to use cold water or tap water. I mean, it doesn't have to be that cold, but not use like boiling water to start with this because as soon as you put hot water with something, it's gonna start to cook. So if you start with cold water, it's going to start warming and like take all the flavors like slowly, and then you're gonna have a more intense flavor when you use cold water.
So we're using celery and onion and carrots, but it's possible to use any type of vegetable, right?
Yes.
When the classes that I've been with you, we've used scraps too.
Oh yeah, of course. Sometimes I do like a vegetable broth. Well, also for the bone broth works. But when I have like carrots, when it's the whole carrot and then you peel it, I save all the skin, and then when you chop an onion and you remove the ends, everything, I just grab it and put it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer so it doesn't go to waste. And then when I have an enough amount, I use it. I remove it from the freezer and put it here so we can have uh, not waste food and still use what you have, and that is convenient and you don't have to start everything from scratch. And yeah. So I just put it in the slow cooker, and then I select the high heat and put it 8 hours. So it's like, for me, it's like the minimum. So you can have a very rich bone broth. But if you wanna leave it for more hours, or some of the slow cookers doesn't have that much long, they're like 4 hours or 6 hours. But sometimes I just start over. I mean, it's 4 hours, and then I start over, and then we have 8 hours.
What if you don't have a slow cooker? What if you're doing it stovetop?
Um, you can still do it. It's just uh, it's not as convenient. I mean, if you are gonna be at home taking care of that, you can do it. I've done it before, and then you just try to put a lid on the, use this kind of material also, like stainless steel, and then you can just leave it there, like very slow heat, and until it's ready. Sometimes this kind of, if you use stove, the water can evaporate like easier than if you use a slow cooker. You just need to add more water so you can have the full 8 hours cook. Okay.
What about pressure cookers? I've never used one. I'm afraid of them.
Me
Actually.
too, actually. Me too. I don't recommend that much. I mean, they help, but I think it's not necessary to, because they do it like more quickly. Like if you want to cook beans, they can reduce the time of the cook, like sometimes half. But I think they're dangerous. Yeah. So no.
So it's a slow cooker or stovetop?
Yes.
I do recommend that you invest on a slow cooker though. If you are about to get surgery or if you just had surgery, I highly recommend you invest in a slow cooker and a high-speed blender. That's going to be like the two kitchen appliances that I really recommend.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on and make another recipe. We're gonna make a jello. So we're gonna use berries, frozen berries.
I have a question about the pots too. What about a pressure cooker, like an instant pot?
Yes, that can be helpful. You can use that.
The instant pot?
Yes.
Okay. So the idea of the bone broth is that it cooks as slow as possible, right?
Yes.
So that it can release the...
Release all the collagen, and yes, so you can have very rich in nutrition, but also in taste. So what I'm doing here, I'm just putting 2 cups of frozen berries. I'm gonna add some water here so I can cook this. Okay, just hold on a minute. I'm looking for something.
¿No hay otro galón de agua? Sí.
Okay, here it is. Okay, so I have here 2 cups of frozen berries. This one is a blend. It's a mix with strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries. But if you want to use just one kind, it's fine. Um, I just add 1 cup of water, and then I'm gonna put it in the stove so it can cook, and then like blend it to make like the juice for the jello.
So that's also another question that we get a lot. You know, if you can use frozen fruits or frozen vegetables, and that's actually a really good option for some. Even for some, it's going to be better if you use the frozen option for example, spinach, berries, because sometimes the more they ripen, they either become sweeter or they get more mature and they start losing their nutrients. So sometimes the freezing them can help preserve their nutrients. Just always make sure that you look at the bag, because some brands will have added sugar. So you don't want added sugar in your fruit or, or in your vegetables. So make sure that the only ingredient is the fruit. In this case, we used frozen berries, but you can also use fresh berries if you want. And these they're just berries. They don't have any other ingredients. Always make sure you read the ingredients of all of the products that you have at home.
Okay. Just moving on a little bit with another recipe so we can have enough time to make them all. I'll get back to the berries when they are cooked. It won't take long, but I just want to move on. Sí. Okay, what we're gonna do is some popsicles, and I'm gonna use just two ingredients. That is mango. I have a very ripe mango here, and this is kefir, but this one is made with almond milk, so it doesn't have any dairy, but still has all the probiotics that are good for our gut. So I'm gonna use 1 cup of mango. It is important in this case. You could also use the frozen one, but I rather to use the fresh one, because in this way I can see how ripe it is, how sweet it is. Because the idea is not to add any sugar, so just have the natural sugar of the mango. Okay, so I'm adding here like 1 cup of chopped mango, and then I'm gonna add half a cup of this the kefir. You can also use this recipe with coconut kefir that is made with from coconut milk. And I'm just going to blend this.
So that's another question that we get too. If almond milk or coconut milk or any type of plant milk can be used instead of water or during the clear liquid phase. And yes, basically almond milk, all these plant-based milks are just water with the plants strained in it. So yeah, it is okay to use them in the clear liquid phase.
Okay, so one of the things also good to use the fresh mango and not the frozen one is when it's ripe. It is like softer, so it can blend easier, and you can see. In this time, I use this like immersion blender. But you can use the other ones too. Um, the Vitamix has also this like small jars that you can put in if you're doing a small amount, but you can use this double or more the size, the amount, so you can have. So I'm just filling this small mold, so I don't need much. uh, but this is like sweet enough. I'm gonna taste it because it's important to taste it before it's frozen. So I think it doesn't taste sweet, that much sweet, but it's nice. I mean, you can taste the mango, so it is nice to have it. So just fill the popsicle mold, and
And right after surgery, there's also an intolerance to sweetness. So that's, it's a good idea to do those type of preparations with the natural sweetness of the fruit.
just the right amount for this. So this, I think they are sweet enough for any kind of for people that really like sweetened things or that doesn't. I do it for my kids. This like now in summer that they want a snack or something, uh, but I don't like to give them that much sugar. So this helps. Not if you have kids or nephews, or you can use it for yourself, but also to share, and they taste nice.
I've seen many recipes for popsicles that use gelatin, unflavored gelatin. Is that necessary for the consistency, or does the fruit itself help with the consistency? Because sometimes it can be just like there's certain fruits that can be just like ice, right?
Yes.
That it doesn't really have that, like that
Like very
popsicle.
watery.
Yeah,
Yeah. It, well, yeah, it depends. What kind of fruit do you use? Like if you use
right.
like the watermelon, also like the watermelon water that we did. You can put that on and make popsicles. That texture is gonna be different because it's more watery than the mango that has like more this like meaty, chunky texture. And uh, but yeah, you don't need it. I mean, they do it because they want the texture to be very specific
Okay.
that's what they do when they do like these brands. I mean, that's what they do also with almond milk or any nut milk that you can find in the store. They add a lot of gums or gelatin or anything,
Right.
because usually it's very watery, and we're trying to make it similar to cow milk, like more thick,
Right.
and that is naturally is not possible.
Okay.
So that's why they add those things.
It smells so good in here.
Okay, so I have the berries ready. I don't know if you can see them. Oh my god. Okay, so this is real life kitchen. That can happen to you too, okay? I'm a professional chef, and look, so don't feel bad if that happens.
See?
Okay, so I'm using um, usually berries are more like sour. So to make this a little bit um, sweeter, I'm gonna use some date syrup. You can add some regular dates here. Just remove if they have like the seed. Remove it. I'm gonna add a little bit of date. Actually, this is really good because it's a syrup that is just made from dates, organic dates. So it's just the dates are blended. Doesn't have anything added.
And it can also be made at home, right? The date syrup.
Yes, they can be made at home.
We might have a class on that later.
Of course. And then it's just because the berries, especially the raspberries, are very like sour. So we're going to mild that so it doesn't taste that. And just blend it too. This is oh okay. So this is hot. That's why I'm gonna use this one again, not use the blender, but you because also I need it to be hot so I can put the gelatin in and get dissolved. So that's why it's easier.
It
Smells very
smells
nice.
so good. So the immersion blender can be a better option for hot
Yes.
liquids.
Yes, definitely. So that's it's more safe and more convenient in general, and it's very these are very affordable ones too. So sometimes they come with the, like in the same package with different like with the food processor and then this and then the blender. So you can have one of those. Okay, so now I'm gonna strain it just to remove any of the seeds that might have.
¿Necesitas colar?
¿Mm?
¿Necesitas colar cosas?
Yo creo que sí.
Voy a lavar todo.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this here to remove any seeds that might have. Okay, so it's almost done. Let's see. We have all the seeds here. Then, I mean, I'm just doing this first. This the first phase that is liquid. I usually don't strain this when I do it at home. I just um, leave it with the seeds. But if you don't like it, for some people it might be uncomfortable to feel them, so you can just do this, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is gonna measure 2 cups. Okay, I need 2 cups of the liquid. Oh, exactly 2 cups. So I'm gonna put it back. Just needed something else to measure, so it can have more space here. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna to dissolve the gelatin, the natural gelatin, in water. So this is the one I'm using. I'm not promoting any brand. You can have any brand that you want, but just to keep know what I'm using. I'm just using one envelope. So usually one envelope will make 2 cups of liquid. So just add a little bit of water, cold water here, so they can be like soft and kind of a liquid form again. Don't put that much water. I just put like 1 tablespoon of water so it can be soft. And what I'm gonna do is gonna add some of the liquid from this, so it gets warm and it can dissolve like well, so we don't have any little balls here that just need to dissolve it.
So we have some questions. What is in the pot?
What is in the pot in the back? The beans. We're cooking the beans.
So we're cooking beans on the pots in the back. In the crock pot, we have the bone broth, and then the berries were cooked on the other pot. And there's also another question. Instead of using an unflavored gelatin, is it possible to use a thickening powder used for folks with swallowing issues to give it that texture? Asking because it's the xanthan gum that is the main ingredient. So I just want to answer that in the nutrition aspect. We recommend gelatin because of its properties. Well, Vidi will let us know if you can use something else, but gelatin is helps with gut health, and it also there's research that says that it does help with healing. So that's why I always recommend gelatin. That's why we're doing the bone broth also. So that would be it. But I don't know if can other thickeners be used?
Yes, it can be used, but it's not going to make the gelatin like as hard. You can, the thing that you can use that is also natural. One of the things that I don't like about the gums is, well, first you will have to use a lot of amount to make it, and it will give a different texture. It won't like solid, be like solid like a gelatin. And the other thing is not natural. Actually, shantan gum is not a natural thing that you can find like in nature. Actually, that's why I don't like to use it. I mean, this is from I know it's from animals. If you don't want to use anything that is from animals, you can use I don't know if it's the same name in English than in Spanish is agar agar. That is from seaweeds, and that is something that you can use to make a gelatin. Um, the amount is different. It's not like they usually don't sell it like in envelopes like gelatin. Uh, I will have to check that if you are interested in the amount to make this recipe. But I've used that sometimes if you don't want to use any from an animal or and that is one of the other sources that you can use because gums are not going to make you same it's going to be like a thick but not kind of solid.
Right.
It's very different.
¿La resta?
No, no, no. Okay, so we're gonna put it here once you have your mix ready that doesn't have any uh, that you can see that it's all liquid. It doesn't have any. You just put it whatever you want to use. I'm gonna use just these glass containers. You can have a big one if you don't wanna use like individuals, and then you can have cut the pieces that you want to have. So there are some others that are made with silicone. Those are great to use too. So Tupperware or something, you can use that too. So anything that is functional with you. I mean, that is easy, that you have at home. So this is ready to go to the fridge. I'm just cleaning a little bit here so we don't have a whole mess. Okay. Now we are moving with we are gonna talking about milks and drinks with additives. I would like to make a coconut milk from scratch, so you can see how easy it is to make it. Okay, so here we have a coconut. It is fresh. It's one piece. Here in Mexico, it's easy to, well, not that easy, but not that complicated to have fresh coconut. But I think in the States it's also too. I mean, I've seen them in some grocery markets, and this is fresh. It's not dry. It is fresh. It's just chopped. Uh, one of the things is that we remove because usually we get it with the brown part of the skin. Um, we just remove that so it can be clean and it looks nice because that part also tastes like kind of sour or bitter. I don't like it to use it. That's why I clean the coconut and put it like this. It's just one piece. The sometimes it would depend the size, but it doesn't matter much. So I'm using the whole coconut here. And then I'm going to add water, just plain water. I'm gonna add 3 cups.
I know you mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned right now that if we want to make coconut milk, it's better to use fresh coconut, of course. It's really easy to get, here in Tijuana. I live in Rosarito. In Rosarito, it's like every corner has a coconut stand. So it's really easy to get coconut water and to get fresh coconuts. I've seen them in some supermarkets too, but if you want to make it with dry coconut, is that possible? I've seen some recipes to make it with dry coconut. Is that possible? And does it change the nutritional content? Because of course we want to get the most we can, the good fats, all the properties that coconuts have.
I've done it a couple of times when I don't have fresh coconut. I've used dry coconut, but that doesn't have any other sugar.
Okay.
I've seen difference in the flavor. It tastes, it doesn't taste bad, but like fresher when you use, fresh coconut. And also like the fat, the good fat that is in the coconut, you can feel it more in fresh coconut than if you use dry coconut. But you can still have it.
Okay.
So one of the things is that usually they have a lot of gums or additives or sugar or things thickers to make it to
give it that consistency.
Yeah, that consistency.
And I've also tasted dry coconut, like the shredded dry coconut, that tastes like an artificial flavor coconut.
Yes, sometimes they add something, even they don't add sugar, they add things so they can have more shelf life.
Right.
So they don't say it because they don't add sugar, but you can taste it.
Right.
If you can really taste the flavors of the things when you have had fresh coconut, you can realize that there is something else there.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna blend this. So you can see the color, it's very nice. And we have all here the small pieces. So we have to strain this. I have something here that is called this one is called a nut milk bag. It's made with fabric. But you can also use like a regular strainer if you don't have this. So you can have this too. I like to use this one because it holds all the small pieces of coconut, so I don't have it in my milk, so it's just the liquid. And also like to have it in your hands, just like this, and you press it, and then I think this is, for me, it's like a different experience to make, even if I use the blender, but like squeeze it with my hands, it feels more like handmade, you know. And it's not that hard. Just like you just need two ingredients: the coconut, the water, and this, and then you can enjoy it. So it's nice. I know it is easier to buy it at the store, but the nutritional value of this is bigger. and that you get to make your own nut milk is very nice. Well, it's for me it is. One of the things that is important to know about this is that they don't have that much life in fridge, because obviously they don't have any kind of preservatives or anything added. So you can have it in the fridge between 3 or 5 days. So I like to make small batches like this, so I can actually drink it and before they go bad. So I have here the milk.
¿Los tapitos dónde están?
¿Ya? ¿Qué quieres?
¿Tapitos?
Creo que están allá.
Ah,
Okay.
aquí está.
And then I'm gonna use this to put it in this bottle so I can store it. It's gonna be better if you use a glass bottle or a mason jar, because it will help to have it fresher in the fridge than use plastic. So like this, and it looks prettier. This is the coconut, and then we are gonna use it for some other drink too. So one of the things that I do with this, I don't throw it away. We have here all the dry, well, it's not dry, but all the pulp of the coconut. So this can be used. One of the ways I use it is I put it in the freezer. You can put it in a Ziploc bag, or you can put it in the ice trays, and then when they are ready, I use it in smoothies. Like instead of adding ice, I use this and I put it in to make a smoothie, and I have like coconut. And when I don't have coconut milk and I want to make a smoothie with coconut milk, I use water and then I add this and blend it, and gives me like that flavor and texture of using fresh coconut milk. Okay, I'm just gonna clean a little bit here. Okay, and then we are gonna move. Okay, so I have the lentils here.
So lentils are, you know, that in all our classes, I always talk about legumes. Lentils are wonderful. They're very easy to cook. They're very fast. Like they're the fastest legume that you can cook. So if you want to make something fast, and if you soak them, they're going to be they're going to be ready in a much shorter time. But also, it helps with the gas. So my recommendation, I don't know if you do, you have different recommendations for this, but I always recommend that you soak them twice. So what I do is I soak them overnight, and then I'll throw out the water. And then in the morning, I'll soak them for like another 2 hours. And then I'll throw out the water when I'm going to cook them, and I cook them with fresh water. It's always important to cook with fresh water.
Yes, that would be very helpful. Um, I usually do it twice. Sometimes, especially if they have like some dirt or something that we don't want. But soak them will make them cook very fast. So I usually cook them just like the beans, maybe add a piece of garlic or a bay leaf. Uh, Now, what we're gonna do is add a little bit more vegetables. We are adding onion because we want to have add more flavor because we are not going to use just the broth, but also use the vegetables and the lentils to make like a cream. It's not for this phase, a liquid one, but it's an idea of something that you can do in the second phase. Okay, so you can have this, and when you are in the liquid phase, you can drink the broth, and then you can freeze the rest, and then when you are ready for that, you can have it, and you don't have to cook it again.
Actually, that was a question. If these are for the pureed diet or the soft food stage. Yeah, it's actually, if you cook the legumes, you can drink the broth. But if you're doing creamy soups or if you're doing pureed legumes, then it's for the second and the third phase. So right now, the preparations that we're doing is kind of like the first 3 weeks after surgery.
Yes. So I'm adding garlic, onion, carrot, celery. I'm gonna put a bay leaf or two because they are too small. And I'm gonna add the water. So the same as the beans, I don't add any salt until they are cooked. Okay.
So I'm sorry, I missed that. You add the salt until they're cooked?
Yes.
Okay.
Until they are cooked. So we are gonna move. Okay, I just need to. I think in like half an hour we'll be ready for that. So what else? The green juice. We need to make a green juice. So I'm gonna bring the juicer here. Okay. So I'm gonna use this one. This is a cold press juicer.
So I'm not a huge fan of juicing because I really like smoothies, but I know that you've worked a lot with detox diets and people that need that type of those type of preparations. So what is the difference between using a normal juicer, using the blender, or using this type? Because this is a special type, right?
This is a special one. This is a cold press. The difference between a cold press juicer and a regular one is this doesn't is like a slow movement that doesn't bring any heat to anything of the vegetables or fruit you are putting in. So they are like more like alive, like they are whole, like if you are eating them, because the movement produce heat, and any type of heat you put in food, it will eliminate a little bit of the nutrients. Yeah, it's not that it's bad because we cook all the rest of it, but this is a very good way to use vegetables and different kind of ones that you can mix, and you have all these vitamins and minerals that you usually don't have in one small meal. because sometimes we don't eat that much vegetables, and this is a very good way to have all those vegetables. The difference between doing smoothies and doing juice is that we don't get the fiber when you are doing juices.
Exactly.
We are getting all the vitamins that have, but we are not getting the fiber. So it's not a meal. I mean, it's something that you can drink, obviously, that is healthy for you. But the difference with the smoothie is that you can add different things like nut milks that they have fat, or you can add seeds or other kind of things that can blend, and you can make it like more nutritious, like dense nutritious. Like you can be more satisfied for longer than a juice,
Right.
and you can have the fiber too because it is in there. It's not like separated.
Right. Yeah, and with these type of juices, these are perfect, by the way, for the first week after surgery, where we want to get the most micronutrients we can, because there can be a lot of micronutrient deficiencies after surgery. So, having all of that combination is a really good way of having these micronutrients in a clear liquid. I mean, it's not going to be clear if you put it to the sun, but the consistency is going to be like water. So it's going to be very easy to drink. It's not going to interfere with your surgery. It can hydrate, and it can also give you micronutrients. So it's like drinking a supplement.
Yes, it is. And one important thing is that, well, to make it healthier and not to add too much fruit on it, so you can have more vegetables.
Okay.
And for some people that are not used to have a lot of vegetables, this is a good way to have those vegetables.
Right.
Because you don't. It's like easier to get all those vitamins because it's in a liquid form, so your body can absorb them like faster.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a green juice using cucumber and celery and some ginger, and adding pineapple, but just a small amount of pineapple so it can help with the flavor but doesn't make it sweet. One of the things is that it's not that I don't like sweets, but when you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to avoid to add sweet things, sugar, honey, or anything, because you want to eat like cleaner, like your mouth, your palate can be you can enjoy start learning to enjoy those things that doesn't have that much sugar. So it's a process, but adding a small amount of fruits like we are doing, it helps so you don't feel that need of that much sugar, but you can still have the taste. So I'm using a big amount of cucumbers and celery.
So another thing that I'm seeing is that you use the ginger you don't take out you don't peel it.
No, it's not
Oh.
necessary. You
Okay.
can just wash it and use it like this because it's very thin. The skin sometimes can be hard, but it's not necessary.
Okay.
Yeah. They're just the only thing that I don't like about this is the noise they make, but it's because they are doing like this slow movement.
So what do you think of those um, powders? The green powders, red powders that contain these type of fruits and vegetables. For a lot of people that don't like eating vegetables, that they use these type of powders.
I think that it depends how they are produced, because if you put it in a, you can not use heat to make them to remove the moisture of the vegetables. So if they do it with heat, what they're gonna remove some of the vitamins and minerals. So, but there are ways that they do it like without heat.
Freeze dried.
That one, yeah. So I think that is a good chat. Also for busy people that doesn't have much time to do
Right.
this, it's a good option.
Yeah, I that's the recommendation that I always make to the patients because they ask me about the powders. So I would say look at the ingredients and look at how it's made and make sure it's freeze dried, because if it's dehydrated, it does take away a lot of the nutrients, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
Sometimes.
dehydration is something that I wouldn't recommend, but if it's a powder, make sure that it says freeze dried or lyophilized or something like that, right?
Yes,
Lyophilizado,
yeah,
right.
that one. It's kind of hard to see.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just making this amount. One of the things that I like of using this machine that is cold press is that I can make like a bigger batch and use it like for 3 days, and I don't have to do this every day. Because I mean they're great, but I don't like to wash this every day. So I do like for 3 days that those are the days that they are going to be good with still the vitamins and minerals there, and you can have it in the fridge. So every 3 days you can have your juice and not make it every day.
Yeah, perfect.
So okay.
And how long will it last in the refrigerator?
Like
About 3 days?
3 days.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take this.
And you can start tasting it too, right? It starts going a little bit sour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have. I'm gonna put some here. But you can see that I mean, it has some of the pulp, but doesn't have that much. So. Okay, I'm gonna put this in the fridge, so I think it tastes better when it's cold. Okay, we just having one more. We're gonna make a smoothie this time, so we can.
So this is our last recipe?
I'm waiting for the lentils to be cooked so I can make the like the cream.
Oh, yeah. And the broth from the lentils, we can also have that, right? Without.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm making a smoothie with berries. So you can use the same ingredients that you already have, so you don't have to buy many things and fill all your fridge.
So one of the things also of the post-op diet is that because we're going from clear liquids to full liquids to soft foods, you can reutilize many of these ingredients that you already have. Even if, for example, like we talked about the broth. There's an alarm going off. Wait. With me, eh?
¿Es de qué? El humo, ¿qué?
Sorry, guys. I think we set off the fire alarm in the building, but it's vapor. Everything is fine.
Okay, here I have bananas, frozen bananas. What I usually do is when they are getting very ripe, and I put it in the freezer so I can use it for smoothies. So they are more sweet.
So the riper the fruit, the sweeter, right?
Yes.
Always. The riper the fruit, the sweeter, and it's going to be a lot easier to not use sugar or sweeteners, right?
And then we're going to use the coconut milk that we made. So for me, this is very nice. Like, actually use it like when you use it for the first time. Like, okay, I'm having just something very simple that is a smoothie, but I made my own coconut milk, and I think that adds like tastes different because you may have it homemade from scratch.
Right. And also it's preparations that you can have already in your refrigerator.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you can make a big batch. You can do Sunday or a day to make the preparations for the week. And then, you know, in the morning, you just put everything together, or you're going to make dinner and you just put everything together. And you don't have to be making everything from scratch every time you're going to eat. You can have all of the preparations there already. And can the coconut milk be frozen? So can I put it in? Because it doesn't last long in the refrigerator, right?
I recommend to froze it, but just like in ice cubes, so you can use it like that in smoothies.
Right.
Because if you try to freeze like this and then use it like regular to drink, it's gonna have a very rare texture. So.
But if we're going to use it in smoothies,
yes,
put it in
or
ice
some
cube tray.
If on your coffee, if you like like coffee with coconut milk, yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're using the Vitamix here. The consistency is going to be very soft, but you can use a regular blender too, right? For these smoothies. They might be a little bit thicker and they might not combine completely, but it's fine. If we're on the second phase, the smoothie phase, it's okay.
If you don't like it that thick, you just can add more milk, and that'll be fine. You just some people like to use a straw to drink it. I don't like it like this, and it's up to you. I mean, it's the good thing that you decide when you make something.
And also the thing about cooking with plants, this is what I've learned about. You know, I've had many teachers. Didi has been one of my teachers. But what I've learned is that it's very difficult to go wrong. You know, if you mess up with something, you can transform it into something else. You can add a little bit more. You can take, you know, it's easier to transform something when you mess up than if you're working with meat, with animals, right? Because there, if you overcook, you ruined it. If you undercook, you're going to ruin it. Or if, you know, if you mess up with animals, it's a lot more difficult to, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's gonna be dry or
Right.
undercooked or something. Yeah, it's more difficult. Uh, for example, these beans, they are done, and sometimes the size of each bean can change. That's why some of them are still like whole and some of them are like break. But doesn't matter. I mean, you can still have it. Just this is just a way to see that they are done. And then is when I'm gonna add salt, just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna make just one more thing, a drink using the coconut milk that we have here. Okay, we're gonna make an golden milk. Here is the powder. This powder I make my own, but you can buy it at stores too. It's a mix of spices that have turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, and ginger.
So this is great for inflammation, right?
Yes, this is great. So this is another way to use your coconut water milk. Uh, I like it a lot, um, especially in summer. Oh, cold. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna use 1 cup of coconut milk, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of this powder because it's very strong flavor. So it is important to find the right amount to use because if not, it's gonna to be too strong, and you might not like it. So just for 1 cup of milk, adding 1 teaspoon of the mixture, and then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of honey.
Also, when you're buying honey, make sure that you get real honey because sometimes there are certain brands that will be syrup, mainly syrup.
Yes.
So yeah, so always look at the ingredients and make sure that it's real honey. Yeah, so here it's raw, pure, and not syrup. It has to say syrup if you're buying, you know, the syrup or even maple. You know, you'll get maple syrup thinking that it's maple with the honey, so you want to avoid that.
Yes. If you can get the raw one, it's better because it's like have a lot of more nutrition for your body. So I just add ice so I can make it like a ice drink. But this one you can use it like hot. Just hot. Put the the milk on a pot, and then heat it, not to boil it, because this, especially homemade coconut milk, can separate like the fat from the water, that and it will turn like very strange. So you can just warm it up or use it like this, and I'm just gonna shake it a little bit so it can mix.
So the question is, what is the name of this? It's golden milk, right?
Golden milk, yes. Golden milk. It's another drink that you can have. So you can have a variety of drinks and in this liquid phase, and you don't get bored, and you can all the beneficials of uh, this, because this has healthy fats and has all the inflammatory from the turmeric and the ginger.
Right.
Okay, and then we have it.
¿Te lavo esto?
Okay, I'm just gonna clean a little bit here so we have everything, and show you. We are almost done, so we can show you all what we have done in this class. And here the tea that is ready with this beautiful color.
Can you see that? These? I don't think.
No,
I don't think
okay,
You can
I'm
see.
gonna-
We'll show them to you right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna put here everything what we've done. Here. Here. Okay. So for this liquid, we in this couple of hours we did all this. Also, the gelatin, and that is not ready yet, but I'm gonna bring one here. This one too, so I'm gonna put it here. And the popsicles, and we have the bun broth is not ready yet, but it's in the process. We have the broth from the beans, we have the broth from the lentils. I'm gonna check that to see if they are ready. Yes, they are. Okay, I'm just gonna do that. One last thing that is going to blend the lentils, so we can have like the cream. Okay, so I here have some of the lentils with the broth, with the carrots and the vegetables, that is onion and celery and garlic that we put. I add some salt, and now what I'm gonna do is just blend it so we can use this.
¿Vas a hacer un herpes?
Okay, I'm just gonna taste it for salt to see if it tastes good. Yes, it is. Okay. So I know the color is not that beautiful because, but you, I mean, if you are very a person that needs like something more beautiful to eat, you can also use the red lentils. So you can have a very nice orange color. Okay, so now I think we are ready.
El caldo de frijol tenemos que poner.
Ah, sí. Okay, I don't know if you can see all of this here. We're trying to make it light, but just for you to know all what we are able to make in a couple of hours. And the good thing about this, well, let me count. Here is the watermelon coconut water. Here's our coconut milk. Here is the tea that we made with hibiscus and cinnamon and pineapple and ginger. This is the golden milk. This is a smoothie. The green juice. This is the gelatin. This is the lentil cream, and this is the bean broth.
Ay, la paleta.
The popsicle. Let me. I'm trying to take it off from the mold. Oh, I think they're not that frozen yet, so they cannot, but we're gonna put them here in the back so you can see because they're not coming off. They need just a little bit more time. But well, you have the idea of this. And also the I here to make the lentil cream, I use the broth that from the lentils to blend it. But we still have more of the lentils. I didn't blend all of them, Those ones, you can save them, and if you're gonna drink just the broth for the first liquid phase, you can leave the lentils, and then you can blend it with bone broth that you're gonna have. So you don't have to put water, and it will don't taste that good. You can use bone broth to blend it, and now you can. At the first phase, you can use just the broth, and then you still have the lentils, and then you're gonna use the bone broth to blend these ones. So yeah, all of this, and look up the colors that we have. So it is, I think, seeing this is like, okay, this is doesn't seem that bad to start, you know.
Yes, it looks beautiful. So we can eat really nutritious during these first phases. You don't necessarily have to just rely on powders or ultra processed stuff or box stuff. I've seen a lot of people ask me if they can have packaged broth. I really don't recommend that. If you can make your own broth, we made a big batch. We'll put a picture later when we're done with the bone broth. And we're going to have all of these recipes up too. But you can take, make it a day, make a Sunday, or, with your whole family, make all of this, make a big batch. Most of this you can freeze. So you just defrost it when you need it. You don't have to be cooking at the moment, because that's what can be overwhelming sometimes, making everything from scratch at the moment of dinner or breakfast, or you don't have time. But if you have all these preparations already ready, you can, it saves up a lot of time.
Yes, and you see, it's just like 2 hours, and we did all of this, and most of this can be freeze, or you can use it also for several days.
Right.
So I think it's very good amount of time that you can invest, and all the beneficials that you can have.
Exactly. So I don't know if there's any more questions. I'm going to check. Let me see. Okay, so I think we covered all of the questions, and just the announcement that we're going to be having these classes live. So if you're coming to get surgery, or if you're coming as a companion, or if you're coming as a plastics patient, we will have these classes available. We'll do the dates. We already have 2 dates. We'll post them right now for September and for October. Also, if you have any suggestions of what you'd like to learn, please let us know. You can put it in the comments right now. And we can have a little bit more idea of what you want. So we wanted to cover the initial phases after surgery, which is, I think, something that people will have some difficulty with. Also, I like to work with plant-based. Well, both of us, we do a lot of plant-based type of classes, which is, as we've spoken in the classes, it's a lot easier to obtain nutrients from your plant foods in the beginning after your surgery, because it's going to be a lot easier to eat them. So, I mean, the bone broth is not a plant, obviously, but plant-based just means that you try to incorporate more plants into your eating pattern. So yeah, so this is what we have for this class. We'll be announcing the next one soon. I think we had it for September 23. So it's a Wednesday, September. It's like the last Wednesday of September. We'll give you the dates, and we'll let you know the classes. We're going to be posting all of these recipes that we did on the Facebook group also. Now, if there's anything that you want to add.
No, just like not to feel overwhelmed because with a few ingredients you can do a lot, so you don't have to shop everything. You don't have a big pantry, just like simple basic things, and you can make different options.
Right, and reusing, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of these things that you used twice or more than, you reuse a lot of stuff. And especially these first phases, you're eating very small amounts. So if you make a big batch, it's going to last for a long time, and just eating that same thing can get boring. So if you learn how to reutilize everything in different preparations, it's going to be a lot more fun. So yeah, so the idea is just to make your healing process fun, easy, accessible. And yeah, so we're going to be having these classes. If you want to join us live, in person here in the kitchen, or also we'll look for a way to have them recorded for you. We'll look at the logistics later on. So thank you very much for everyone that tuned in. Michelle, thank you so much for having us in the group. And well, if there aren't any more questions or comments, we're done. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.